I got him into a thing that I've been obsessed with for a while, which is Married at First Sight. And now he's into it. We're on season... What season is it?
I'm into it.
It's season 14 of the American show where they get married to people that they don't know. And I fell in love with it because I love judging people. And also I was very single, so I was like judging people, trying a different way of like dating and getting to know somebody. But this season has been very entertaining for me. We're on episode 14, 15.
12.
We're on episode 12.
We're on episode 12. You see how ahead she is.
Oh yeah, I couldn't think of like next week already. Because there's always so much drama. And we just wanted to like talk about what the couples were doing and also how I feel like I can judge them. And I feel like I know more than them in certain areas, even though I've never been married.
Why do you think you know more than them?
Because I get to watch them and I get to say, like, you shouldn't say that to your man. Or, like, you shouldn't do that to your wife and I hate you.
Interesting. What stuff shouldn't a lady say to a man?
Oh, now I remember the name. That white couple, Lindsay and Mark. Right?
Is that where we started?
Yes, that's where we're starting. So, like, just to give you a basic background of that couple. The wife, she talks a lot. She riles people up a lot. And she does that especially with her husband, especially when she feels like she's not getting her emotions reciprocated or she's feeling like she's vulnerable.
Is that the one that says, yeah, go back to your mother?
Yes! She says stuff like, go back to your mother, you can't even satisfy me with your sex, that's why your life is in shambles. Just like, she's so much, and I don't know, I don't know why he stayed.
I think for me, the moment I saw that, that's when you realize this is not... The social experiment's not focused on really making a relationship work. It's focused on how do you make the wildest personalities work by some miracle. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, hey, at least we got views. And I think that's what happened there. Because unless the casting director just didn't know, oh, this is her weak, this is her flaw as a person. She just flips out when there's a disagreement or something doesn't align with how she sees things.
I mean, I think there's only so much that the experts can know because essentially what they're doing, it's a casting process. Tell us about yourself. We're going to do a couple of psychometric tests and then we think, oh, according to what you say you like in the opposite sex, because this is a very heterosexual show, and then they match you up with someone and then they see how it goes. But she's like quite volatile in the sense that I don't know if you're going to be at a bowling alley and I'm saying stuff about, oh, he doesn't satisfy me in bed. And everybody can hear me saying, you don't satisfy me in bed. And your place had bed bugs. And your life is in shambles.
Should women, how should women tell a man that they're not happy in bed?
I think we should kind of just say it. I've still been conditioned to like kind of not say that stuff. Just like in the relationships that I've been in, if I say something isn't working, then, oh yes, this one time I had requested for more clitoral action and I was asked if I was a lesbian. Basically because why isn't the dick enough? So that kind of made me feel like, okay, you guys don't want feedback. You guys just want us to say, it's fine. So.
Okay, that's interesting. Please put that in the comments. If you're not happy with the sex, regardless of what gender you are, but primarily also the woman, what's the best way to tell a man, yo, I need you to do better?
You don't, like, I don't know. Like, guys, please tell me, because I also don't know how to raise things. Not necessarily that anything's lacking, just to say that I like this, also I feel like that takes a lot from me. So
You must say, I like it. I don't like it. Men as well. Practice saying, yo, yeah, no, not like that.
I've never. Oh wait, I've kind of heard that. You've told me that before.
Why are we talking about that? Hey, let's move on to the next couple.
The next couple is Olajuwon and Katina. So, in this relationship, okay, I feel like it's important to say that he's biracial, right? So, he's half white and he's half black, and he's got a white mom, and his black dad was never around. And I don't mean to make it a thing, but I also think that's where his thinking comes from in terms of he thinks a wife should be someone who's in the kitchen, cooking, and that's how you show love and dedication into the marriage. I think maybe because he hasn't had an example of like a father figure in a marriage, so he's clung onto that. And also, the way that he described himself, he was a serial cheater. No, not a serial cheater, because he was never in a relationship with anybody, but he was a hoe. So now he's gone from the extreme of being a hoe to being this husband, and I think he's got this unattainable ideal of what his wife should be. And he's married to such a good woman. She's so nice. And
yeah, she was very, I guess, very receptive and very adaptable. And
more
flexible,
than I would have been.
which I think is dope to see in people. I think a lot of people get when they decide to get into a serious relationship or into marriage is the idea of flexibility or adaptation goes two ways. And especially as Africans, we go, oh no, normally the woman must bend over to everything the man says or man wants, but it should definitely be two ways if you want a couple to work. I will say this though, based on the profile I saw, from the way they profiled the guy in the beginning of the season, he looked really risky, like a risky choice the show would choose. But I have to give credit to some degree. It looks like he was bent on being a different person and he put the effort into trying to not be who he used to be.
And maybe that's why they set him up like that, because in everything, in his, what do they call it, the lower third? It's called the serial player or something like that. I'm like, so why would you come on the show? Like, why is your thing about getting baddies and then you're telling us about getting baddies on your wedding day and you're crying because you're not going to get baddies anymore? Yeah. I found that weird. But yeah, his, I guess, transition was interesting because it went from one extreme to another extreme.
But that's the thing. It's almost like it's a good extreme at the expense of hurting someone. So we can see this is good to see the change. However, the change is too far that it's hurting someone.
Yeah, I think it's. I feel like it's also very lazy to say that he didn't have an example of marriage in his life. Because that's not necessarily a thing. You can have an example of marriage in your life and you don't want to aspire to that. Or you can learn what not to do from those people. But I feel like he's not willing to learn who she is. He's waiting to see how you can fit into this thing that I've decided a wife should be.
You are married. You are married.
You are married. And you're... Like, what did he say? He said something in the other episode about how, for me, this shows that you are not woman enough yet. And you need to prove to me that you can be a wife to me. And I would have worked. And she was so gracious. She cried after saying that she doesn't cry because she has trauma from a past relationship. Who used to, I don't know.
I feel like there's maybe an unwritten story or an unsaid story from the guy where he was challenged and he was told he wasn't man enough. And that's why he maybe felt it's okay to say this because, he's
never been in a relationship long enough or actually had relationships. He's been with women, but not in like actual relationships where we're doing something together. So I'm just like, oh, no. I get so mad on her behalf and she's so calm. I would be like, cook for yourself and your mom. and cook for, like, ask your mother to come. Because I'm not doing, oh my gosh, if that was a requirement of you. Also, when I say, okay, so when we met her in her vows, right? So in the show, I don't know if you watch it, but they can say their vows, and then there's also a section where their family has written down, this is what you should expect from this person because we know her. They said she doesn't like to cook. So expect nights out, dates out, or to do something.
But I won't lie, as a South African or an African, it's not about gender, but when you hear, if you're trying to get into a relationship and you hear your partner can't cook, at the age you're at, it's concerning. Like, I know for me, my dad taught me, I guess, survival things. Like, yo, this is how you sew a button on a shirt. He comes from that generation. Know how to sew your own shirt. Know how to iron. Do your own laundry. Don't get a woman to do it yourself. And I've been raised like that, so it's weird.
I get that.
So if I'm raised like that, and I hear the person I want to get with doesn't know how to cook, and considering how we slanted as Africans to go, women must know how to cook. That's also like that's interesting. Not that I need you to cook. I'm not dependent on you for food, but it's like, but yo.
Okay, but again, in her situation, in her defense, let me say this: she never said she didn't know how to cook. She's just very bad at it, and she doesn't prefer to do it. So let's look for alternatives. And he's very hell-bent on having somebody who's gonna have a cooked meal when she comes home. And by the way, she works from home, right? So in his head, he's thinking, you're at home all day, why didn't you cook? But for her, it's like, I've been working. I wasn't sitting here doing nothing. And I must cook on top of that, which is exhausting.
Yeah.
Number two, like you're saying in your situation, we can both know how to cook. Doesn't mean that we know how to cook good food.
Yeah.
So that's a different thing.
Yeah.
So you have 2 female roommates?
Yeah. So what did you think that I purposely didn't tell you about that one?
Well, I mean, I didn't know about the first one.
Okay.
Michael. Guys, I wouldn't lie. When I saw
You guys
that,
need to go back to that
that
episode.
woman turned into someone else. She said, lock the door.
Now, Michael.
You're going nowhere. Explain your life.
Oh my gosh. That also made me think about, like, if I had a camera in, like, where we stay and people saw how I talk to you, like, how would I sound? Because I feel like I've had...
Hey guys, you'd feel sorry for me.
No. First
You'd
of all,
be
I'm
like,
great.
it's okay to get out.
No. I'm great. Thank you. I'm lovely all the time. But they're also interesting because, let's say, they both have interesting stories. So, Jasmina, both her parents basically abandoned her. I don't know, I'm paraphrasing now, but her mom just was like, I'm not about this life. And then her dad took the reins, and then her dad married her stepmom. And then when they didn't work out, he went back to Jamaica. And then the stepmom was like, I'm gonna adopt you and make you my kid, which is a very rare thing. So she has abandonment issues because, I mean, her mom left, her dad left. So she's kind of a fighter.
That's heavy.
It is quite heavy. And then the experts paired her up with a guy who's lost his mom, his brother, his grandmother, I think, and his father, all at a young age, which is just kind of intense. I think maybe their thinking is like, you guys have both experienced trauma. But that's also kind of dangerous because you have your trauma response and I have mine, and now we're butting heads. Which essentially it's been the thing of his sisters told her that he has, what is it? Not that he doesn't trust easily, but...
You mean apart from balding?
Oh gosh.
I just bring that up.
Poor man. Yeah, he's got like a sunroof.
It's got a LeBron James in the sense of his head.
It's slowly coming in. And he's slightly shorter than her, so I also think she's a tall girl, and I know tall girls like struggle to find people because
You ladies gotta start accepting
no,
that some men are shorter,
No.
but they're not love you right.
No.
They'll do right by you. Stop having issues.
no,
This is why you're
No.
still single.
no, 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 no. Find the heights that you're okay with. The short ones will also cheat on me.
I want to rebuttal, but yeah. Perfect heighted men will also never cheat on you.
I don't know why you're saying that. I feel like I'm good with your height.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Take us to the next couple.
Okay, the next couple. So yeah, they've basically been struggling to get their communication right because Jasmina is scared that he's a pessimist and he always looks at things from a negative space. But she also doesn't know how to communicate. She's one of those. What I've realized is that being single for a very long time can affect how you are when you get into a relationship, and it's probably harder if I just met this person now and I'm married, because I'm used to being this way and I'm very set in my ways. Also in my thinking as a woman, I'm just like so it's hard for you to like break that stuff down, which I think she's done over the last couple of weeks. And they have a friendship brewing, but she's also waiting for that like romantic part to get in. And I don't know. I think it's gonna come, but to expect that maybe in a month in to somebody that you don't know is probably quite difficult for her. So she can kind of try write it off like, okay, I'm not feeling anything, so this might not work. But I think they would be quite.
Well, see, I mean, she's also the chick who said, "I'm not gonna wait for you," which is weird because I mean, cool. I think a lot of us guys want that honesty, but to hear it like that, like, that man's gonna hurt.
I feel like we must give people context.
Also,
They were
you're not
talking
gonna wait
about
for me.
intimacy, and she could have said it differently. But basically, she was saying she wasn't ready. She doesn't feel that vibe. The things aren't tingling.
It's also, I'm not gonna wait for you.
No, wait. No, baby. No. She said in the context of if we don't have an emotional connection, I'm not getting wet for
Do
you.
you think any man is hearing emotional? After you saying that statement, we don't care about emotions.
Why not? Because then I'm telling you what I need.
You said, I'm not getting wet for you. Cling.
No. Okay, so the final couple is Steve and Noi. They're the Asian, I don't know if I should say that, but they're the Asian couple.
Asian persuasion. Are they both Asian?
Yeah, they're both. He's half Asian.
Yeah, but guys, look at him. You know what? Let's not do this on YouTube.
He's half Asian. And I feel like for them, in the beginning, I had a lot of hope. Because their personalities seem to gel together in the sense that she's sometimes very, how can I say? She thinks here and in a very fairy tale way.
Whimsical ladies.
Yeah, she's whimsical.
Danger.
No, what?
No,
you
continue.
say that I'm whimsical.
Hey, focus.
He said that I'm whimsical like from the day that I met him. Okay.
Yeah, but her level of whimsicalness is unnecessary.
Okay. Yeah, but he's more of a realist, and it's interesting. I feel like they're whimsical in different areas of their lives. So she's whimsical in the sense that she wants a big family, and she has this idea in her head that she's gonna have 3 kids, and she's gonna be married, and she also wants like, I don't think it's whimsical to want a guy to be like a breadwinner of a family and stuff, but she's dead set on those things. So if she doesn't have that, for her it's a no. Whereas he is more adventurous he wants to work when he has to work and work hard enough to be able to travel and do the stuff that he wants. So he doesn't want to be bound down by work. And she comes from a background of poverty, so she needs to see work going in so she can see money coming into the family.
I think I fully get that. I actually like him. There's something about him that is really logical in how he approaches all the situations.
I just feel like he doesn't articulate himself that way.
You're right. At the same time, when it comes to being romantic with someone who happens to be whimsical, you gotta play into that as well. And I've never seen that.
He doesn't know how to.
I've never seen him go, you know what, I can see the...
Maybe if he had 3 babies, yeah.
Yeah, it would be cool to see that, but I mean, I can understand where he is. He has to be logical because of where the situation he finds himself in now. But of all the couples, like, if we try to round this up now, yeah?
Sorry, I think essentially they both need that structure that each of them brings to each other. So, she's whimsical, but that's something that can work for him because of his adventure spirit. And she needs somebody to say, life doesn't go the way that you are like writing it down to go. So they both need to like find a balance for that. But essentially, so Steve isn't working right now. And from what we gather, Steve has enough savings in his life to be good. He was going on a 6-month tour of...
I need that life.
...of the world. And he can work when he wants to because he's in a position that he has a career that isn't bound down to a 9-to-5. But where she's coming from, she grew up in poverty, so she wants to see, I need to see this man work before I get a home with him, before I have a baby with him. And they need to figure out that balance. Also, I feel like she's very passive aggressive, so she just leaves if she feels like something isn't working.
I mean, that scene where she just walked out because she was touched by someone's criticism. Also, I think
criticism about noodles. Also, it was noodles.
I think when it comes to couples, you can't. I'm not saying this is a rule, but you kind of have you can't waive your right to be touched by everything if you're in a relationship. It's a moment where you have to be fully vulnerable to receive that correction or that observation.
I'll say that.
And it's like, that was weird that she felt challenged, but she couldn't handle the challenge. And I feel like that's very important. So if you can't be challenged by each other as a couple, why are you even together? Because when it gets hard, it's gonna get hard. If that's how you're acting in the smallest of things, how are you gonna react in the biggest of things?
I think once again it's that thing of you've been single for a very long time. You've established your life and your independence in a certain way. And it's very easy to say that you want somebody that can challenge you, but to hear that and experience it is a very different thing. So you react to it differently.
Okay. Is that all the couples?
Yeah, I think that's all the couples.
Of all of them, who are your top 2 that you know that you can feel? You feel like these guys are gonna make it. They will be married by the end of this, and they will stay married.
As a rule of
Also, put in your comments. Who do you think are the top 2 couples, if you're watching the show, that you think that are gonna make it?
So my favorite couples. Well, I wouldn't say I have favorite couples because this season was actually quite a disaster. If you haven't watched any season, I feel like you must watch this season so you can see the couples. No, just one couple in the beginning that was an actual disaster. In comparison to that, I believe in Jasmine and Michael. I feel like she can get over her impatience of a physical romantic connection, and they can actually build something beyond a friendship, just like their life values and their objectives for their lives. I believe that can be a thing. I also believe that Steve and Noi can work if both of them give way to each other. Like, I also can't say, like, if my person was unemployed and I didn't have a plan of what they're doing with their life, I don't know how I would feel about that. He must meet her by saying, this is my plan, this is what I have, and this is what I intend to do with my life. And if we have kids, this is where we are. She needs to meet him by saying, maybe we don't have 3 kids, maybe we have 1 or 2. If they find that balance, I think those are my top 2.
A part of me feels like the Asian couple is gonna make it,
Yeah.
and Olajuwon, is that how you say his name?
Oh no. Olajuwon.
Is that how you say it?
Olajuwon. I don't know. It's Nigerian.
Why is that your name? We don't know.
It's Nigerian.
Yeah,
Stop
but you
it.
must say that to his receding headline.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, I think those two.
I
That's my
don't
top
feel
two.
like they should lost.
I think they could. I think he's gonna
No.
gain enough maturity to go. These things I need to change. I think that's the thing, because I know for me, I have been in a place where I've been labeled or considered or viewed as a certain way, and there is this lack of hope that you can't be a different person. And when you do become a different person, now they want to talk to you even more. And I feel like, I don't know about him, but I feel like he might be in the same place.
I don't think he's there yet. I think he has the idea of being there. I don't think he knows what that takes.
I get you. I hear you.
And that's also a lot of work, which is fine. You can work on it, but I also don't think you should work on it on top of somebody else. Figure that shit out for yourself. And obviously in a relationship, we're gonna, again, learn each other on top of each other, like how we have done. So where he is, I think he still needs to learn himself. And I think that comes from being by yourself. Maybe I feel like this is more of a learning curve for him than an actual marriage, because he's never been in a long-term relationship, number one. And those things that you were saying, that's stuff that you need to sit with yourself and look at yourself to do that. Now, when there's somebody else, you can't do that because you have expectations of them, they have expectations of you. I feel like for his next relationship, yes. But for her, where she is and where she's like, she's willing to bend and be like a river for a lot of things and flow. She needs someone who's on the same path, because I feel like, I want to fight him on her behalf. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear you. I think we've got to wrap it up now.
Yeah, so this is our, I guess, intro into our world in Married at First Sight. Thank you for watching. Please also tell us if you watched the show, like what you think about each couple. And if you haven't, you've got so much content to go through, and you'll understand exactly how I feel and exactly why this is a show to watch and judge people about, because it's so interesting.
Yeah, I got nothing to say. Subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Okay.
Follow us on all our socials. NJ Feels. TK Wishes Today. I'm on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. She's on Instagram.
I'm on Instagram.
And
I'm on Instagram.
that's it.